Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Gathering of Gachas, the only podcast that focuses exclusively on the games your parents don't want you to play. I'm Galen, the SoundGuy Firestone.
I'm Ranakel.
And I'm Dez. How you guys doing today?
Doing good.
I will admit to being slightly annoyed with our co-hosts. We were supposed to have both Kite and Ryan back today, and both of them missed the call time. I'm throwing them right under the bus on this one. How dare they?
It's
Pretty
like
much.
trying to cast Exodia and 2 of the 5 parts are missing.
It's not helpful, and I kind of understood that reference.
I'm not a
I'll
Yu-Gi-Oh
admit
player,
that I
by the way.
completely did not get that right.
That's a Yu-Gi-Oh thing. It's basically a big monster in 5 parts, and if you assemble the parts, you win the game instantly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But we will have to battle through news and all sorts of gacha goodness the regular way,
Without them.
unfortunately.
So, what do we have from FFXII today?
Well, let's get through the old stuff that doesn't actually matter that much as quickly as possible.
Alright.
Let's.
All stuff that doesn't actually matter, that's code for FF12.
Yep. They exist. Ashe and Vossler are here.
This hurts me to make that joke.
I know, it hurts me too, but that's where we are at, so there we are.
Yeah, and it hurts me even more that Ashe just isn't really cutting it.
She's one of the 2 real main characters of FF12. I want her to be good.
Yep. So let's start with the gear she provides. TMR is a materia with 30 flat magic percent and 20% HP and magic dagger mastery and sword mastery. So if you dual wielding a dagger and a sword, that's 70% magic, 40% HP.
Okay.
Nice ceiling, but definitely restrictive in the kind of gear you need.
Yeah.
And the STMR is a high magic sword with also 120 attacks because might as well. Few defensive stats, 171 magic, 25% permanent mitigation, and an active ability that's 75% magic break, magic damage to all enemies, and the Nephesite effect. Or the Wunic effect if you like Celeste more.
Okay.
So that's kinda weird, kinda niche. As for her kit, so as her gear suggests, she's a mage, using mostly bolting strike chains with some curse wave can thrown for good measure, to make her a partner mostly.
Alright.
She has some strange utility, mostly in Miss Barrier and Miss Decoy. The first providing 65% one-turn mitigation to an ally, and the other making somebody provoke for 3 turns.
Okay. So basically she just orders... Basically she does that thing that Halloween Nickel did. I forget what they called him.
Illusionistical?
Yeah.
Not quite, unless... I don't remember now if it's a provoke or a cover he does. I know Rivera has a cover.
I thought Nickel was...
His was a cover.
Oh, his was a cover.
Okay.
Never mind. Who was the one who was like, order
provoke.
the other person to... I swear there was someone who did that.
Probably, but I can't remember it off the top of my head.
I think that was Rivera. I think he does both.
Which probably does. But with the innate provoke we have, if we're up to date on gear, that's not really a mainstay.
Yeah.
Right.
She also has the ability to use a skill which provides herself with 90% mitigation as part of her triple cast.
Okay.
So that sounds very powerful and very interesting. There's only one slight problem with this skill.
Yeah, I was wondering what the problem was.
Okay, so there's an upside, which is that it also negates a spell. And there's a downside, which is that it costs 529 MP.
That's a lot.
Yes! That's more max MP than most characters have. Now, obviously, as a mage, she's better in that regard, but it's still enough MP that it severely limits how much you can use that.
Yeah.
So, aside from that, she also has a Izuna and a barrier on a 4 turns cooldown, and the rest is mostly damage with 3 elements, wind, fire, and thunder, with some unlocked systems that make her not as straightforward as could be. Well, it's a bit messy, it's interesting, but like she more or less specializes in one or the other element after she goes down the chain, which is an interesting way to make the kit, but of course, given that we've had some very powerful mages recently, she can't really exploit it to the fullest because her numbers just don't really match the Kujas and Umbrel Bahamut Fina of this world.
Right, and since we just got them, like, they're basically giving us essentially a downgrade, which is not great.
Yeah. Then we have Vossler. So, regarding the items, his TMR is pretty not the greatest. It gives some raw stats that are apparently random: 27 attack, 24 defense, and 32 spirit.
Okay.
And also provide a 30% attack, 20% defense, and spirit mastery with Great Sword, and a 10% permanent mitigation. So it's it exists very nice. See you next time.
Yep, pretty much. Next.
His STMR then. So it's a great sword with 100 spirit on it.
Okay.
And also a 20% spirit on it, and 25% human killers, and 171 attacks. That sounds great. It's a nice, great sword. You can use it, get a shield on the other hand. Great.
I'm hearing a butt coming.
It's Vossler.
Fair.
Vossler uses 200 weapons. This is a 200 sword. Aimed at tanks.
Okay, a two-handed sword aimed at tanks.
Yeah.
Two-handed.
The tanks that want to use shields.
Yeah. Okay.
Great.
That's basically the premise of what Vossler is, by the way. He can equip light shields, technically, and probably should, but he does have the ability to be a decent magic tank, actually. His main issue is that Paladin Cecil exists.
Right, once
and
again.
And that Sacred Shield Charlotte exists.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's third in that regard, which is really not bad. He also has a bit more of an offensive streak. And then there's this weird skill with a 7% chance proc to cover for physical damage.
Well, that is thoroughly weird.
A 7% chance?
Yes, 7.
So that sounds pointless.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much. That is
about as pointless as the fact that technically Ashe has shield masteries as well. She has a 150% magic bonus from equipping a shield. But then she can't benefit from neither magic through double hand nor magic through dual wield, So that is pointless as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, overall, these FF12 units, they're trying to do things, and I'm not sure it lands.
No, it doesn't sound like it does, unfortunately. Again, that's a shame.
Like
I've always liked the FF12 cast, but it seems to me like at least they're not as universally useless as the FF8 cast.
Yeah.
But, like, oof.
That's a high bar indeed, Galen.
Even Judge Bergen follows this trend, and he's the 4-star.
Oh, I never knew they released Bergen, but okay.
Yeah, they released this banner too.
Okay.
And, okay, I'm going to tell you his TMR, and you're going to tell me what kind of a unit it is. Bergen's Helm is defense 25, attack 30, magic 30, and a passive which provides attack and magic 20% when equipped with heavy armor.
Okay, so it sounds like it's a heavy armor mage, like Golbez or Xdeath or somebody.
I hoped you would have said hybrid unit, because there's also attack.
I guess, but I don't know. That just the way that sounds, like the attack is sort of just there, but the stats just say like heavy armor mage. Bad one, but heavy armor mage to me.
Yeah, no, and the problem is that he has these passives and even actives that lean towards more of a hybrid type build, but he has not a single hybrid skill.
Okay.
He has an Absolute Mirror of Equity and a Stardust Ray Chain, and he has some spells. Actual basic spells like Aurora and Watera.
Okay, well, that's
spectacular.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful. Let's get right on that. What? Why? All right.
I know, right?
Yeah.
That's it for FF12 pretty much. Weird experiments at the dawn of what comes next. So we also have the Scorn of Shinryu that came out. For those that like a challenge, that's a big beefy dragon.
Okay. Which Shinryu is it based on? Just any of them, like FF5s, or did they do something weird like have it be FF14s? Because I didn't fight him all that long ago, so he's kind of on the brain.
Yeah, it's definitely not FF14's design. It's more silvery.
Then that's probably FF5's.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it does provide a pretty good reward. An accessory with 48 attack and magic, and 30% resistance to fire, ice, lightning, water, and earth.
That sounds pretty good. That's a nice defensive doodad that doesn't completely eradicate your offense.
Not bad.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm pretty satisfied with that, to be honest with you.
As for the fight itself, it doesn't have the behemoth problem of having an RNG break resistance, thankfully.
Right.
Instead, it has RNG targeted Roulette of Death.
Awesome.
RNG, yay! Right, Galen?
Yep, that's wonderful.
Yeah. And that includes the death that dispels your unit, ignores cover, and ignores death resistance.
Nice.
So much like Behemoth, it sounds like you can't have a party that can't live without one of your units.
You can't have anyone you can do without.
Yeah.
Basically.
Which is good.
And he's about as tanky as Behemoth K, so they're in the same league. So
cool.
Yeah. So the recommendation that goes around is that it's a complicated fight, and if you don't really want to bother with it, you can just wait from what's coming very, very soon. In fact, in just a couple of days.
Yep.
And then one-shot it.
And then one-shot it.
Yeah,
that should show you just how crazy the meta's about to be.
Yeah. We had the big Envy reveal stream.
We did. Let's talk about this nonsense.
So, right now we're recording on Tuesday, Wednesday for me,
Mm-hmm.
We've had the live stream on Sunday, and so this Thursday we're going to have our first Envy units.
Well, we say Thursday, but my understanding is the assumption is that there's going to be maintenance delays. It's already a 12-hour maintenance, but they've apparently never figured out how to do a slot machine right.
Yeah.
I still hate that thing exists, but...
Of course. And they've confirmed that it's going to come back at this update as well.
Which is exactly why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah. But let's start with the beginning. So, it was a live stream that featured Justin Patterson as a host, and the producers Hiwono and Fujimoto, as well as Shali.
Mm-hmm.
All reunited, but socially distanced in a responsible way, in a studio in Akihabara.
Okay.
And there was the usual mix of announcements and audience games with rewards and obvious cheating to make sure we get all of the rewards.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, usual big stream things.
Yeah.
But after our first game where we got to win, quote-unquote, a mask accessory with blind immunity, 10% fire resist, 44 attack, 10 defense and spirit, and 5% evade, we had confirmation of what everybody pretty much expected, which is that new visions are coming.
Yes, indeed.
And it's not they're coming in a month or no, even they're coming in 2 weeks. They're coming the next update.
All right.
This week. Yeah. As of time of recording.
Indeed. So we're getting the details for how the awakenings will work and how the pulling will work. It's very, very similar to what JP had. We don't have any really weird unique systems. We do have some enhancement compared to JP, but nothing that completely shifts and revolutionizes how it works.
Mm-hmm.
So, to give the rundown in general, to clarify first and foremost, they gave this example for the first batch of units we're going to have, which will be Cloud and Tifa, but we won't go into details about the skill sets of both of these units to keep something under two for next show.
Yeah, we're going to be talking quite a bit about how all this works next week, I'm sure.
Yeah, for now it's New Vision's general info.
Yep.
So the thing they've really done a pretty good job clarifying, even though I've looked it up pretty profusely, is that essentially there's two very different types of New Vision's units.
Okay.
The native ones and the awakened ones. And they basically two different types of unit with the same power level in the end.
Okay. So there's a difference, but there isn't a difference.
Yes. There's a similarity in result when you're in a battle, but the awakening and enhancing process and the obtention process are all different. So, for native New Vision units, such as the Cloud from the remake, you pull him, you have right now a 1.25% chance to pull a New Vision unit.
Okay.
It has currently a 1% chance to give you the unit featured on the banner, and a 25% chance to give you an off-banner New Vision unit. However, right now, because they're only releasing a single New Vision native unit, there is a 1.35% chance total to get Cloud.
All right.
When you get the unit, which has this fancy new wet crackling crystal, you get the unit itself, which is ready to be enhanced all the way to level 120. Without any awakening process or anything, and you get a random vision card from the generic pool. There are vision cards that aren't tied to a unit specifically, and the pool will expand every now and then. At this point, you just get a unit with a lot of skill and a lot of good stats, but that's pretty much it. To get the full potential of the unit, you have to awaken it to EX1, 2, or 3. For that, you need two things: Unit Shard and Transcendence Pearls. The Unit Shards you get from some bundles in the shop, some events. We're going to have eventually a daily where every NV unit you bring in this daily quest gets one shard of her own type. And through getting this shard progressively, you can awaken the unit. You also get these shards and pearls from transforming this unit into them. If you, for instance, pull 2 new vision clouds.
Right.
When you get the unit at EX1, you get bonus stats, and very important, that's base stats. So it's every percentage bonus affects these base stats. Similarly, by the way, when you equip a new vision unit with a vision card, and only new vision units can equip vision cards, that's counted as an equipment when it comes to true dual wield or true double hand.
Okay.
Which is the two main reasons why it's such a big increases in power. But we get these war increases in stats in both fronts. Anyway, when you get to AX1, you have bonus stats.
Right.
And you also unlock the unit's Brave Shift.
And that's where they get their alternate sprite and animation and all that fun jazz.
Yeah, alternate sprite, alternate animations, alternate passives, alternate skills, alternate LB. It's pretty much another unit in the same slot.
A whole second character.
You even get to equip differently both versions of the unit. And by the way, a lot of people, especially at the start, will forget to equip the Brave Shifted version of the unit in the friends list. So be aware of that and don't be that guy. Also of note, Brave Shifts are either on a cooldown, and once you get into a form, you can't revert back to the other form until a certain amount of turns, or they are temporary. For instance, for Tifa, she only gets her Brave Shifted version for 2 turns, and then she has to wait a little bit to return to that. For the first EX Awakening, you also get 2 things that weren't there in JP, but that we get in Global, which is the unit-specific vision card and 3 vision card Gigantoirs, which are the enhancement materials for the vision card. In JP, you needed to EX plus 3 the character to get the unit's vision card, and it's still there. So that's 3 additional vision card, and those tend to be pretty good. Right now, the native NV vision card we got will be the best offensive vision card in a while.
Now, one thing that I am not quite certain of, vision cards, are they like a new equipment slot or like...
Yes.
Okay.
Essentially, they're a new equipment slot for NV units. They have up to 10 levels, and each level increase gives raw stats. For instance, Cloud's vision card, which is the crazy motorcycle chase, gives up to 100 attack base, and gives offensive passives. I think it's Great Sword Mastery at level 4 and 7, and other offensive and bulk bonuses at level 10, only for FF7 units.
Right, okay.
When you awaken a native Neo Vision unit to EX plus 2, you also get an increase in stats, and you also get more enhancement materials. you also get two additional things. One, which is also in JP, is the unit's 100% STMR Moogle. And the other is, which is the global original, is a 1/10 NV guaranteed ticket.
Ooh.
As the name suggests, you get 10 of those, you get an NV unit guaranteed.
Yeah.
So that's
Seems
pretty
good.
cool, and of course there's other sources for those.
Right.
Yeah, and at EX plus 3 you get even more stats. You get the unit's vision card again, and you need to fuse additional vision cards to get it to full power, and some more enhancement materials for vision cards.
So
overall, EX plus 3 is considered a luxury.
Okay. Well, that's originally how they considered even TMRs back in the day, so there's going to be a point eventually where it's going to be mandatory, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Then, to give an element of comparison, when you use a unit that already exists in the game, but that gets awakened to NV, first to awaken her to NV level, the unit needs to be level 120, and needs to have their STMR unlocked.
Okay.
Once you do that, you also need some shards as well as Ascension Pearls, which is a different kind of enhancement material than the Transcension Pearls, and that is more common.
Okay.
At the EX plus 1, you unlock more stats under Brave Shift as well, of course, but you don't unlock anything else. No unit's vision card, because there isn't unit-specific vision cards for the awakened unit, and no bonus enhancement materials.
Okay. So...
And on EX plus 2 and plus 3, you just get more stats and 1 and 2, respectively, vision card Gigant Trials. Also of note, the EX plus 3 Awakening uses the pearls from the native NV units, not the awakened ones. So it uses the Transcension Pearl, not an awakened Ascension Pearl.
Okay.
Which is why, even more so for awakened NV units, EX plus 3 is very much a luxury.
Got it. Yeah, that sounds like a whole, thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I didn't talk about the two new abilities NV units get too.
Alright.
Two new types of abilities anyway. One of them is actually it was new in JP, but we already have those. It's essentially Magnus abilities.
Right, it's the
abilities you
X
only
times
have a
per
limit.
battle.
Exactly. They're named differently, but we'll probably call them Magnus for a while, because that's exactly how it works.
Right, okay. So we know what we're dealing with.
And the second new type of abilities, each unit tends to get generally 2 of them per form, are the levelable abilities. These requires essentially a new type of crests,
okay,
enhancement materials, and you get an ability usable at level 1, and it gets better and better as you use these enhancement materials up to 5 levels of progression.
Okay.
That's basically, for, say, Cloud, the difference between a 42 times modifier finisher to a 100 times modifier finisher.
That's a big upgrade.
Yep. These upgradable skills are a pretty big deal for some. Others will probably be useless in a character's rotation, because that's how units work.
Yeah, pretty much.
Another thing you'll need to be able to enhance those skills, however, is a character-specific seal. Those seals. Yeah, you get those seals. I think it's a single seal to be able to upgrade, but I'm not 100% sure of that. But you get those seals from events that are temporary. So, say, as the update releases, we'll get the event that allows us to get the Tifa and the Cloud Seal.
Okay.
And after the event for these 2 weeks, it's gone. But it will return.
Okay, can you get the seal and then just hang on to it till you need to upgrade them?
Yes.
Okay, so then that's not so bad. Just be thorough and play the video game.
Yeah, and they've already confirmed on stream directly. It will return regularly. Maybe every month, maybe every other month. They haven't given a specific pace, but it's something that will return.
That's not like awful. That's not like the blue magic thing, which is usually a whole like mess.
Exactly.
If you miss,
it's just that if you pull an off-banner Cloud a week after he comes out, you'll have to wait a little bit to get his finisher fully leveled up. If you didn't grab the seal.
All
right. So for the first banner, also of note, they're not going to stop making 7-star bases, and they're not going to stop giving us 3 7-star units either. We'll get Barret and we'll get Reno from the remake as well.
Okay, and neither of them are NV.
Neither of them are NV.
Okay.
And Reno is free.
Okay.
I thought Barret was the free
one?
Free
stuff is good. We like free.
We like free stuff.
Yeah. And no, Reno is free, Barret is a normal 5-star by 7-star max unit.
Okay.
But hey, at least it's got a 7-star at all. So that's an upgrade.
Yeah. I'll take it.
Yeah. From now on, the banner rates will change as well. Of note, we're now already in JP, which is only 4 months ahead of us by now.
Which is kind of incredible?
Yeah. There's a reason why they buckled down completely. They've managed, in the middle of the whole COVID reorganization mess, to shave 2 months off the schedule. That's pretty impressive.
Impressed, but a lot of junk was skipped as well. So, at some point, that's going to have to get addressed.
And I'll come back to it later, because that was talked about in the stream.
Okay, good.
Yeah. But my point is that right now the NV rates in JP are 3%.
Okay.
They weren't 3% at the start. It's going to get upgraded pretty soon, but right now it's only at 1.25%. And the 5-star base rate is at 8.75%. So on total, we now have a 10% chance to get on normal pools a 5-star unit or better.
That's pretty good. That's really good rates.
Also, the 4 and 3-star base rates are 45% each, instead of having a higher chance to get a 3-star base. So, sure, nice.
Yeah.
It's mostly going to be useful for the Mock Kings events to get the unit that provides you with increased
a little
rewards.
bit better bonus.
Yeah, we take those.
Sure.
However, these don't come yet with a step up. Again, it's probably going to come later, but right now, the sound system is not step up based. What they're giving you to provide still an incentive to give a certain amount of summons is a simple get free 11 pool. The 4th one is free.
Okay. So if you're going to spend 15 anyway, you're in good shape. But other than that, yeah.
Yeah. It's not ideal, but...
No.
Better than nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, you do get, however, tickets from each of those summons that you can trade in an NV-specific shop. I assume you get materials, shards, and pearls from it. So that's also an incentive.
Now, did they mention... You mentioned a shop. Did they mention, the tokens you could get during the anniversary event that didn't have anything attached to them yet? Did they mention what the heck that was?
You mean the Soon tokens or the 100 we got?
I think it's the Soon tokens I'm talking about.
Okay, so the Soon tokens we already could trade those for up to 10 UOCs, up to 1 Omni Prism, and up to 3 5-star EX tickets.
Okay.
And they've indeed confirmed that the shop is going to be expanded to include materials for Tifa.
Nice.
As well as awakening materials for the brave abilities.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah. What else? King mugs are going to be changed in how they work.
Okay.
Currently, we get a certain point progression every time we run a stage, and we get currency, and we trade currency for the 3 units Prism, SCMR Moogle, and TMR specific Moogle.
Right.
These rewards are all going to be moved to the point system and from the progression. So, and instead, we'll get to spend the resources we get from the Moogle King event on envy-related materials.
Okay.
So that's just a different way to move around the resource sinks, essentially.
Okay, that's interesting. I'm not really sure how the changes to the King Box system are going to be actually handled at this point.
I'm
not sure how it's going to feel or how it works. As a dumb question, I know they effectively took out units. Previously. Like they took out a lot of pull power.
Yeah.
Are they?
You mean when they called the summon pool?
Pretty much that, yeah.
They haven't confirmed they're doing that yet. Anyway,
Okay.
They have, however, introduced something. I will come to that a bit later, but that should compensate essentially for this in some way.
Okay.
For now, to move on to the whole set of events we've got, because it's not done yet.
Of course not.
We'll also have the companion battle system.
Okay.
That's an event that will run parallel to the Mug King event. You only get to do it once a day. You can't bring any friends, and you can only bring FF7 units.
Interesting.
And they have not only that, but they've confirmed that advanced children do not count as FF7 units.
Which is kind of crap, to be honest. I'm not thrilled with that move.
It's disputable.
It is disputable. I agree with that assessment.
And the reward from the companion battle is essentially a kind of tough-ish boss, which we should have no problem for this one anyway because Tifa.
Okay.
And it adds additional event points to the King Mug gauge.
Interesting.
Which should help with the grind.
Okay. That's pretty neat.
I can get behind that.
Yeah. Then we'll have the Challenge of the Brave, which is the way to get awakening materials and the character seals.
Okay.
It will also be the first battle we'll get with the Brave gauge. It's a system similar to the FF13 break system.
Okay.
But the condition, essentially, the Brave gauge is weak to something, and that something changes from boss to boss. Some might be weak to an element, some might be weak to normal attacks, some might be weak to a type of weapon like instruments.
A type of weapon like instruments. That's actually pretty neat.
That was an example given, yes.
Okay.
And once the Brave gauge is depleted, the boss is put in a weakened state, and you can wail on it.
Okay.
So that will add a technical layer, potentially.
I actually really
I've
like
heard
that.
from JP that it's mostly wasted potential so far.
That's
but we'll see how it turns out.
unfortunate.
And finally, perhaps the most important part,
Mm-hmm.
Envy provides a big shift in the power level and a big change in the meta.
Right.
So, of course, there's a risk that a lot of players might be left behind. A way to alleviate that is the Tifa quest we're going to get as well.
Yeah, I've heard about this.
Simple quest that provide us with Tifa, her 7-star prism, her STMR Moogle, and even her TMR Moogle. And also some fragments and a pearl, meaning that everyone gets a free NV Tifa.
Which is amazing, because she's
Absolutely.
apparently superpowered, if I understand the situation correctly.
As of right now, she's still in JP one of the top 3 DPS units.
That's incredible for a launch unit.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
It's a unit that some of us already have, even. I know I have 1 NV ready Tifa plus 1 spare, so all I'm going to get is an additional fist weapon and then 50 prisms.
I think I was about that point myself, to be
ladder.
honest. That sounds pretty close to where I was.
Yeah. Basically, one of the best units from the new meta is free from everyone. That's great.
That's wonderful.
And it's even greater that it's Tifa, because Tifa is great as a character.
Oh, she's wonderful. I do kind of wish her Brave Shift was a remake look, because, that'd be cool. But
yeah.
Other than that, I'm happy. I've always liked her. I absolutely adored her in remake.
Yeah. And she did get her second Breath of Life in GL due to her unique enhancements.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that. We talked about that on the show, I mean. I'm sorry, it's been a while, but I remember they were like, ooh, this is very interesting and unique and different, and I like it.
Yes, and she was very good.
Yeah.
Which is why they're going to adjust these enhancements a little.
Oh, dear.
Because with these enhancements and the power level she is at JP already, this would have been even more busted than she already is. So they're going to adjust her a little bit, but it's not enough compared to JP. It's reducing the GL buff to get it more in line with the power level in JP.
Yeah, basically she's already superpowered. Giving her more superpowers is probably a little dangerous.
Yes.
It sounds that way.
Yeah. So that was the first part of the stream. And it was a nice transition from the first part to the second part, actually, because they brought in some messages from influencers and figures from the community, including Clague, Jifeng from China, Leogard, somebody whose name was in Korean and was untranslated, Lord Fab, and Howl.
Okay.
So that was a nice around the globe shout out to the community and the content creators for the game.
Yeah.
That was pretty nice.
That's pretty nice. I appreciate that.
And when the stream returned, Fujimoto-san had changed from his usual rainbow hoodie to a New Vision colored hoodie.
Of course.
That is the most important news of all, by the way.
Oh, yeah, no, I fully agree.
And they've clarified something which might have eluded you, because there's a part of this first round of a New Vision that I haven't talked about.
Okay.
Did you notice what it was?
No, I didn't watch the live stream. I'm sorry.
Okay, in JP, the first round of New Vision's unit were Cloud and enhancement for Tifa and Red 13.
Oh, and
we will not have
Tifa.
Yep, we will get Red 13 eventually, but he will not be part of the original batch.
Well, this is pretty standard, to be perfectly honest. That's something they tend to do.
Honestly, as much as I like Red 13, he wasn't really a notable NV unit. And if it's a sign that he's going to get global original enhancement to bump him up a bit in the tiers for global, even if he has to spend a little more time in the oven, That could be interesting.
If
it just releases as is, I'd be disappointed.
Yeah, I mean that's very similar to what they did with the 7-star rollout here in Global.
Yeah,
they did
had a bit more spread out, and they've added and changed a few things here.
Yeah, so that doesn't surprise me at all. That's very on brand.
Yeah. Then there was another challenge, a guessing challenge. Interestingly, they've sent a post to the social media channels to call for people that want to participate in the stream in a Zoom chat.
Okay.
And amongst them were Womi, which I've known from some communities on Discord.
Nice.
And Dream from the Global Original podcast.
Oh, very cool.
Which didn't miss a chance to advertise the podcast pinned on a corkboard behind him.
That sounds about right.
Even in one of the challenge's answers, he raised the answer written on paper and then accidentally slipped a paper behind it in which was written CG Ramza when. So, Dream, you are our hero.
Oh, wait, did they skip CG Ramza?
Yeah, there's no CG Ramza.
Even in Japan? I feel like there was one
Even
in Japan. Even in Japan, never mind. Okay, nope. I got ahead of myself. But yeah, we need CG Ramza. Let's just be honest here.
Indeed.
If we got CG Sarah, and CG Ace, there's no excuse not to have CG Ramza.
Exactly. I'm not even a prominent FFT fan, but that's unfair.
Yeah. I still think FF10-2 Yuta should have been CG at that point.
Yeah. But I'll take CG Ramza before a lot of the CGs we've got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, then they've described what is going to come in the Overdrive campaign.
Okay.
And it's a lot of goods.
Well, again, it's, that's their thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I'll resume the all of the goodies we'll get, the tickets, the lapis, and all of that, in a sum up later. But for the interesting part, one of the things we're going to get as a login bonus is the very first Global Original Vision card.
Ooh.
And it's absolutely adorable.
Adorable,
Yes, it's a pixel cake. On the top layer is the main three, Rain, Last Word, and Fina. And on the bottom layer, there's pixel versions of Global Original units. There's Tiana, there's Esther, there's Elena, and there's Cho that tries to dig into the cake until Elena stops him. And also Roberta is flying around on her dragon.
Okay.
It's adorable. And as far as the bonuses go, it essentially gives the Adventurer 5 effect. So plus 40% as a passive to all 4 main stats. And on top of that, an XP boost and raw stats, of course.
Okay.
They've also confirmed something that should be reoccurring at each NV unit's launch.
Okay.
Which is some bundles, which are going to be prominent.
All right, bundles are good.
I didn't say great. I'd say important. Because once you pull an NV unit, you wouldn't have already the shards to awaken it to EX +1 and have the Brave Shift. So that's when the bundles come in. And I see you starting to make a really deep out.
I'm not sure what you're getting at here is the problem. I'm like, I feel like there's another shoe dropping. I'm just like dreading what that could possibly be.
Not really.
Oh.
It's a Lapis bundle. It's not a money bundle.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, so basically once you say pull a cloud, if you spend 5k Lapis for his bundle, you get 50 cloud fragments and 300 trust coins as a bonus. So you can get the EX +1 version of a unit pretty much guaranteed.
Oh, well, that's not bad at all. How much lapis does it cost?
5,000.
5,000. So it's a full 10 pull, essentially, is what you're spending on this.
Yes.
Okay.
But if you have the unit, then you can guarantee it. Like, so
yeah.
If you have the unit, then you can guarantee that you get him to NV1. You said, right?
Exactly.
It's a little hard to see how this is going to affect the lapis economy in a vacuum, which is kind of my issue.
Yeah, there's still a lot of uncertainty in that.
Yeah, so I'm not really ready to make a judgment on it yet. It sounds like it could be good, or it sounds like it could be a money sink. I don't know.
Yeah. Also of note, if you want to have the same kind of bundle for Tifa, you can. Also 50 fragments, a little bit more trust coins, and it only costs 3,000 lapis, not 5,000.
Oh, okay. So is that going to be a thing for upgraded characters? I forget what you call them. Those are awakened and not native, right? Or how that works?
Yes.
Okay.
The native isn't an official term, nor awakened, but that's a way to distinguish them.
Yeah. Okay. So native, we're going for ones who start as new vision units, like this new cloud, and then awakened or existing units who get upgraded.
Exactly.
Okay. So, with that in mind, do we think it's going to be permanently cheaper for awakened units?
Yes.
Oh.
I am absolutely persuaded of it.
In that case, I'm kind of... And if they're at the same power level, like with Tifa's power level, like it feels like you almost always want to concentrate on upgrades. So what am I missing?
You do get some more rewards from the native NV units, such as the vision card.
Right.
The unit-specific vision card,
right,
that is.
Okay.
And sometimes you want a specific part of their kit.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's always going to be, like, specific characters and specific strategies.
Yes. But the awakened Neo Visions unit are not second rate.
Right, obviously.
Tifa is one of the best damage. Loan is going to be one of the best NV Awakened Breaker as well.
And Lauren's old as heck. Like, she's been around for
she's ancient
years.
Also, her Brave Shift sprite is amazing, but
I don't know. I don't actually like it.
I like it a lot.
It looks too, for lack of a better term, girly.
I understand, but I think it makes sense in a courtly setting.
She never struck me as the courtly type, though. She's a hard... trying to find a way to say this without cursing. She's a tough old
hardened general.
Hardened, yeah. She's a hardened general. I would feel like, if anything, she'd wear a dress uniform or something. Not a actual dress.
Maybe she gets another side that will get revealed in a story event. Who knows?
Boy, if there were a story event about Lauren, that would imply they actually remember Lauren.
In any case.
Yeah, let's move on
I haven't even finished about the bundles yet.
Yes, I'm sorry, we got sidetracked. Please go on.
There's two other bundles that should be recurring as well, which are ways to get a Transcension Pearl and Ascension Pearl. So the awakening materials for native NVs and EX +3 awakened NVs.
Right.
And the one for the EX +1 and +2 awakened NVs. The bundle for the Transcension Pearl also has 1,000 trust coins and costs 5,000 lapis. The one with the Ascension Pearl also has 200 trust coins and only costs 1,000 lapis.
Okay. So they're definitely encouraging a hard lapis spend in...
Yeah, basically, there's a bit of a lapis tax for NV units.
Right.
We will get these materials in non-lapis spending ways, but we will have to either make choices or spend, which is a choice in itself.
Right.
I suppose the biggest takeout from these two bundles and the price difference from 5,000 to 1,000 is that transaction pearls are pretty expensive and that you should manage your resources accordingly.
I mean, once again, know what you're... You want to be educated going into games like this, so that's not...
Yep. Right, so that was the point of the stream where they've confirmed the addition of the Soon Shop.
Okay.
Indeed, the Tifa Fragments, Assumption Pearls, and the new Awakening Materials for abilities, which is called Fortisites, now that I see it in my notes.
Fortisite, alright.
Yeah. There's also some shenanigans about tickets being renamed that isn't all that important.
Yeah, basically just recategorizing things, but just give us the fastest possible way through.
Yeah. It's just that basically there's going to be some tickets that cannot pull NV units, and some that can. And those that can will be renamed accordingly.
Okay. It's good to have clarification, especially one-look clarification where you don't have to dive into like a rule book or an FAQ or something.
Then they have the 4th anniversary slots.
Mm-hmm.
Then they have the Choose Your Campaign of Choice, where we have the choice to vote between 6,000 Lapis, or 20 Select Summon tickets, or 100 STMR exchange tickets.
Wow.
Now, it sounds like the Select Summon tickets are not really the best choice because they haven't given us full units since Awakened King Reign. We only can get the prisms from those.
Right.
It's still pretty good, but it's not the full units, except they've confirmed a little bit later that they will catch back to that. And that in 3 successive waves in the coming months, we'll get the ability to UOC units, which will start at Awakening King Reign, and then we'll have 3 tiers catching up to the current latest units, which will be able to UOC fully, and then everything that's not an NV unit will be UOCable.
Okay.
Unit and prism both.
And they're still going to allow prisms to come out as cheaper than the units?
Yes.
Okay, so then they've just opened the heck out of this system.
Exactly.
Okay.
I think that's a pretty great way, especially since some 5-star base unit will still be very relevant.
Right, especially in the support
in
categories.
More niche roles like support, yeah.
Yeah, or anyone you could upgrade into Neovision as well.
Yeah. And to clarify, that includes the unit that in JP was Summon Fest. They've given 3 units as examples in the banner, and one of them was Siginotis.
Well, there we go.
So there's no distinction there.
Okay.
Now, another big change we're going to have is the EX point system.
Right.
Yeah, and we have more news about that in the news recently. So how it works currently is that as you spend money, you get EX points.
Right.
As you reach EX point thresholds, you get some rewards. Right now, the rewards are pretty terrible.
Yeah, they used to be good way back in the day, but it's been a long time since they've been updated.
Exactly. And so they will be updated.
Okay.
Well, so, for starters, for anyone that has spent any single bit of money and got any single EX point, we will get the entirety of the rewards currently on the track.
Which is kind of a good reason to spend $1 if you're inclined to do so, because you're going to get a lot of stuff for it.
Yeah. Like a few 4 and 3-star base EX tickets, a single 5 EX ticket, some captures, good stuff.
Yeah.
And, of course, we will all get reset to 0 on the new tracker system. And these trackers will give rewards such as STMR Mogul tickets, and 10th of an NV, and 5-star / NV tickets, and the VIP coins.
Okay.
VIP coins being a special currency that will be able to be redeemed in a permanent shop for rewards such as UOCs and 10th of a Summand, Envy tickets, and beefy rewards. Right now, there won't be any event that provide VIP coins, but they have confirmed that there will be free-to-play ways to get VIP coins in the future.
Okay.
And that there will be a 200 VIP coins giveaway right at the start for everybody.
All right.
That doesn't seem to be a lot, given that some of the early tier of the new EX tracker provide 400 all the way up to 1,200 VIP coins, but that's something.
I mean, 200 out of 1,200 doesn't seem bad, but...
Yeah. And we don't have the exact details of how the VIP point shop will work yet.
Right.
Then they have introduced some quality of life function of version 5.0.
Okay.
These include the ability to stack up to 10 Aryan orbs, which will take a bit more importance because one of the new arena rewards, which will get changed not right at the update but pretty soon after, will be vision card enhancement materials.
Good.
We will also have the ability to favorite specific equipment, so that it always shows up on top of the list. If you have, say, your dodge gear, you always want to equip it all the time.
Makes sense.
We'll also have the ability to have smart auto-equip, where instead of just pressing optimize and having some nonsense, you can effectively specify, I want this elemental resistance or this elemental offense, or I want to maximize attack or some mix of those, and then get an equipment set according to that.
Okay, so that sounds similar. Like I didn't hear of any system like this happening in Japan. Is that global only, or did we just not?
No, that's in Japan as well.
Oh, that is
okay. In Japan too. Yes.
Trying to put.
There's also
trying to put FFB equip out of business or something. Sheesh.
Oh, that won't.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know.
But it's still one step closer. And we also will have the ability to use all Esper enhancement materials at once instead of having to maintain the button pressed for 5 hours.
Good.
And most importantly of all, multi-summon for AX tickets.
Wow, that only took 5 years.
Yes.
Like, how did they not get this after? How do they finally get to this now? I'm actually really frustrated.
I don't know. It's rocket science.
Yeah, it must be, because it's clearly like one of the most obvious quality of life updates they could have done. I have spent hours dumping tickets.
Everybody has.
Yeah. And I'm just like, finally we get this. I feel like it should be celebrated. And, hey, they finally got it. But I also feel like, hey, why did it take this long to finally get it?
Speaking of things that are coming up in the future, we have a roadmap.
Yay!
In summer will be the rewards update for Arena.
Okay.
In fall, we'll get the return of regular story events, which have been paused ever since they've stopped basically. They've jumped over basically every season 3 units.
Right.
To make up for the time lost. They've also mentioned in advance that they will pause the Latence and Awakening ability awakening for existing units,
which is
and will only resume in November.
Weird, but okay.
That's just that they only have so many development resources, and they're pausing that to make way for the new meta, basically.
That makes sense.
It's not ideal, but I like that they clarified that right from the start.
Yeah.
I like communication.
They told us.
Yes, at least it's not catching anyone by surprise.
Yeah. That's good at least. Like I don't feel bad about that. I don't feel wonderful, but at least they're informing us, going, hey, this is a thing we're...
Yeah, I mean, they only have so much money to spend and, like, people to do things, so...
Yes.
Yeah.
And
we also know
2020
that...
go. I mean,
Yeah.
what else are you gonna say?
That says a lot right there. No, I get it. I'm not like raging on it. It makes sense that they're like, this doesn't feel as necessary as these other much bigger improvements and other things. So I get it.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that those that focus on ability enhancement will focus on the differently globally original enhancements we've got to readjust them the way Tifa has.
Right, which makes sense because when a lot of these enhancements came out, Neovision wasn't really on the radar.
Exactly.
And they were trying to keep people up to current meta, not plan for something possibly a year in advance. Which...
Moving on, we also have confirmation, but not with any specific time frame, that the Dragon Quest units and the Kingdom Hearts units will be readjusted to match the JP versions, because they were nerfed since they came out earlier in our progression to match with the events they corresponded to.
Right.
But, so they will be unnerfed.
Cool, I guess.
Yeah, and
feels
they've
really
also
late for a
confirmed
lot of
that,
them, but cool.
Yes. They've also confirmed that eventually we'll get the Season 3 party members. They've also cryptically said expect good things about them.
Right,
They
so
haven't
we're probably...
confirmed anything yet, but that suggests maybe global exclusive buffs to put them more in line with the current meta.
Yeah, that would track. I feel like they would almost have to do that, otherwise they're dumping CG units out there.
And most importantly in this roadmap, perhaps, some other thing that is pretty prominent but that I haven't talked about yet, the unit design contest winners.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've heard about these.
Yep, and they deeply, deeply apologize for the delay. That was pretty profuse.
Yeah, it was.
It was very much caught in complication. They were originally planned to have been released very much before now, but things had to go to the cutting board. And as an audio editor, you know how cruel the cutting board can be at times.
Oh boy. Yeah, no,
but to take into account the delay, because right now these units will come out in spring 2021.
Wow.
Which is very late. But they're taking the additional time to make all of them, without exception, NV units, which wasn't originally planned.
Right.
Because they want these units to be relevant.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. No complaints here.
So, yeah. And again, they've communicated and they were very clear that this absolutely wasn't the plan and that they really would have rather them come sooner. But at least we have a time frame now.
Yeah. And they're getting upgrades.
Yeah. They will strive, because of all the catch-up we've had, to have a balance between the past collabs and story event we've skipped and new and shiny stuff. Wait, no, one of the things that more or less suggested, especially on social media, but that wasn't clarified in the stream or anything, is that there's most likely going to be the JP collaboration they've had with Workout Keeper that we're going to have next week. Because there's an FFBUX Workout Keeper crossover social media event right now.
Okay.
So they're going to catch up with things and give us new stuff as well. They've also mentioned in the Q&A they've given that they have unfortunately no time frame on when the series boss battle will return. And that was why they clarified that they've worked on reducing the lag from 6 months to 4, and that was also one of the things that were on the cutting boards. And for those, they really hadn't had it on the radar. They hadn't given us any date, any mention or anything. But they've said that given how prominent the question about these returns were in the Q&A, they might shuffle things around a little bit and get this up the priority queue.
Okay.
And that there was just some talks about removing dark vision cheating.
Which is good.
Yeah, they're going to continue to do all that. Then we've had the last reward games where Fujimoto-san and Hirono-san attempted to murder Shelly with darts. At least before she realized she could just spin the wheel and run away.
Good.
I'll talk about the rewards later. And the last things before the stream finally concludes was the little bit of global original special magic. So we're going to have 2 global original NV units. No, actually 2 original global original units. One of them guaranteed NV, the other, I know he's CG, but I don't think NV was confirmed, but maybe he is. Anyway, we'll get a new Elena, Starlight Elena.
Yeah, I saw the CG on that. She looks real interesting. Interesting
is the word. I literally wrote interesting leotard shirt leg thing in my notes.
I got actually... Like, I know you're the wrestling fan, but I got a wrestler vibe off of the outfit.
I don't.
Okay.
But I will say that I don't mind it because, well, it's definitely less grounded. She is a fantasy character.
Yeah.
And her sprite very much suggests that she will be a true dual wielder in at least her non-brave shifted form.
Which is very interesting.
Yeah. And then we also have Yoshikiri, which will be at the very least a CG unit.
Yeah, we saw the CG for him. He looks like a ninja, which probably means he'll be terrible.
He looks like Blonde Aaron as a ninja.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And super jacked. Okay, basically, you take Aaron's head, you tint him blonde, and you put him on Barrett's body.
Cool.
And give him ninja gear.
Yeah.
Probably a thrown weapon to double-hand user.
I mean, probably something like that, but like, has there ever been a good ninja? No, wait, there was a good ninja recently. I remember we had this conversation. Yes. There was a good ninja.
Yes. And first they scared us with they're going to come soon. But then they've clarified that soon means September.
Okay.
So pretty exciting.
Yeah. Well, we finally got our new Elena. Still hoping for a CG NV Esther, because I've always liked her.
Yep. And many people do, as has been proven in the various minigames that were strewn throughout. And we'll get a ton of rewards.
A ton of rewards is good.
Yeah. We have a pre-10+1 summon that can yield NV units and whose pool will be updated every time a new NV unit comes out for the coming 10 weeks until the middle of October.
Wow!
We'll get 2 10+1 tickets with a 5-star guaranteed. We'll get SCMR tickets. We'll get Trust Moguls. We'll get rare ticket, guaranteed tickets. A special emblem, the unique accessory. We'll get 13,000 lapis. We'll get 25 days of 4 summons for free as well.
Right.
Basically, we're going to be showered in stuff for the coming months.
Yep, it seems that way indeed. Well, good.
That's all for the live stream. That's not all for FFBE.
Oh, God.
It's only an hour's worth of stuff live. That's all.
Yes.
Please tell me what's left is going to go quickly, because we still have other stuff to cover.
Very much. Most of the news we've had are things that were on the live stream and the usual event stuff for the coming FF7 event.
Right.
There is something that deserves mention in that on top of the basically they've thrown in all of their campaigns at us as well. We have amazing enhancement, we have half energy cost for the story, we have all chambers open, all of the things like that. Even the frame points summons that actually provides useful stuff.
Wow. So, when they said Overdrive, they weren't kidding. They're just throwing everything at us right now.
Yes.
Here, have a whole new game meta and everything you need for the previous game meta too. Enjoy.
Yes. And one of the things that may have gone under the radar is that there's also going to be a special guild shop that's going to open temporarily.
A guild shop?
A guild shop to purchase presumably fancy stuff with gil.
Cool.
In limited quantities, I imagine. Yeah. That's always nice.
Yeah, especially since that's a game where gil you just stockpile it. It's not like Arknights where you're constantly cash starved.
Yeah.
That depends on where your farms and how good you are, and I'm definitely not good at saving gil.
Okay, that's fair.
But some people hit the cap, yes. But yeah, aside from that, the only thing worthy of note about those news is that there were so many of those. That's how I discovered there's actually a maximum number of news in the general tracker we get.
That's kind of incredible.
It never reaches that, and now it overfilled by 6. Meaning that we have to get in the individual tabs to read the news there.
Wow.
Cool.
So yeah, that's Envy. It's coming to us real soon.
Yeah, it is in our faces, loudly and extremely present.
And it's not going to revolutionize anything compared to our expectation, but it's not going to go below our expectations, so at least there's that. And they've done some good communication. We know a bit more about what we're going into.
Which is wonderful.
We've said in the last couple of episodes we're going in very uncertain times, and now we're not anymore.
Yeah, it's a lot more certain. Obviously, things can still change, and they've even said as much, but at least now we have an idea of what their plans are.
They wanted their big reveal. They've had their big reveal, and I left the stream pretty entertained and happy. Entertained mostly by the attempted murder, of course.
Yes.
I mean, that's the highlight. That and the Envy jacket.
Yeah. Please don't murder your PR people. I don't think that's healthy or safe or sane. Don't do that.
Especially since Shelly is absolutely lovely.
Yeah, she's a great human being. I've met her a couple of times. Yeah. She's wonderful.
I haven't met her, but she gives the wonderful vibe all throughout.
Yeah. Yeah. What's funny is she's not even actually PR. They just really like her. She's server tech.
Yeah.
That is kind of funny.
So, I think we can move away from FFB finally.
Thank
because
goodness.
It was a big chunk, but...
that was a big chunk, but there was a lot to cover.
Done.
Okay, so I'm just going to go then super fast and talking about Arknights. We have this new...
Talk to us about Arknights.
Yeah, we have this new event called Lantern Festival. There's no new banner attached to it. It's kind of a follow-up to Neon's event. It's basically a combination of daily login, daily missions, and missions over the 2 weeks. You get a bunch of coins, you unlock rewards. Surplus coins at the end of the event period will probably be converted into cash, because that's what they did last time when they had a similar event.
I think they've actually said that it's going to be.
They actually said it's going to be? Okay, so no problem about it.
Seeing that.
Yep.
I can't confirm that for 100%, but I think so.
Yeah, basically play daily and don't go halfway on it, and you'll get all the rewards and then some. And none of the rewards are spectacular except a cute costume for Gitano, but like there's solid stuff in there. Like always, most of the events are fairly generous with stuff, so cash, a catalyst, stuff like that. So,
and any scenario attached with that?
No. As I said, it's sort of a follow-up to Neon's event. They don't even have like everything open. One thing you do want to watch out for, and I really should have reported on this last week, and I do apologize for it. There is a mission for unlike usual, there is a mission for annihilation kills. So you want to do your annihilations within the event period. Obviously, we're the event period now. But unfortunately, I didn't report on that in a timely manner last week, and that is my fault. So I apologize for not giving that information. Yeah, and that's about the crux of it.
All right.
Anything else? No? Yes?
No, not that I can think of.
Okay,
Nothing
cool.
important, anyway.
Yeah.
So, let's move on to something you're very much actively playing all the time, Des, and that's SINoAlice, right?
No.
Yep.
All right.
So, SINoAlice, as you guys know, I was playing it for a while and reporting on it here. Honestly, I have now uninstalled the game. It's not a bad game. It wasn't for me.
Yep.
The rates, I will say, for like the character classes were pretty low, I would say. Like, less than 1% for the character classes. And the character classes are obviously kind of a big part of the game.
Right.
Yeah, you want the shiny stuff.
Yeah, you want the shiny stuff, and not only that, but having those character classes and leveling them actually gives bonuses to all of your character classes at certain levels.
Of course.
So, obviously, it wasn't a bad game. And I did enjoy the policy in it, the PvP aspect, mostly because I was playing with some people that I knew, but
yeah, it seems pretty intense.
It is, and honestly, I mean, after like 2 weeks, that had been pretty much the only thing that I'd logged in for. I was like, sorry guys, I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you're not really feeling it anymore, as long as it's not just really fun, I might as well take either a break or just saying goodbye.
Yeah,
I mean, I could tell that it just wasn't something that I was going to want to keep doing long term. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I could, like, just by hearing you guys talk about it, I pretty clearly was like, I don't feel like this is something enjoyable. It didn't sound like it was something that I certainly felt.
Yeah, I mean, if I hadn't been playing with people that I knew, I definitely wouldn't have played for as long.
Yeah.
It's got a weird fundamental design, and it's probably going to appeal to some, but it really wasn't for me, and apparently not for you either.
Yeah, I mean, I played it for a while. I wanted to give it a chance, but after I gave it a chance, I'm like, yeah, not really. So that's
and hey, if you're listening to us and you're enjoying it, feel free to come to the Discord server and tell us about it, and maybe discuss possibly coming to the show every now and then when there's a big event to talk about it. We open like that.
That would be awesome.
So yeah, that's SINoAlice.
All right. So shall we move on to World of Visions then?
Sounds good. From one FFBE to another. Hooray.
Yep. And that's 3 weeks worth of content for World of Visions to cover. So we couldn't cover it last time, but some things sometimes have to get to the shopping board, as we've said. And last week, this was the World of Visions segment. So, to not take an entire hour on it, I'm going to go pretty surface level on some of these, starting with the FF1 event that had most prominently the Warrior of Light. The OG Warrior of Light from beloved original Final Fantasy game Dissidia.
Exactly. I was thank you for going that way. I'm like, if this dude is about to say what... Okay, good. Thank you.
You're welcome. I share this thought very much.
Yeah.
But so the design is the Dissidia one, but they've given some nods to the original. In particular, a part of the event had the FF1 music in the background.
Okay.
As for the unit itself, to start, it's a light elemental unit, which makes sense, thankfully.
Yeah.
With a unit job, a Warrior of Light.
Okay.
And limited unit, of course, as all of the collaboration units, which include the FF originals. So he may return, but for now we haven't had a return event yet, I don't think, in JP.
Okay.
And as far as the unit's role and utility goes, the short of it is that he is a better Engelbert that is more balanced to actually be able to survive magic damage too.
All right. Better Engelbert.
So very much a tank.
Okay.
He is a tank through and through. Meaning that he is a great target for my armor piece in dark units, but that's beside the point.
Right. Still having fun with your Venera, huh?
Oh, no, she's level 99 and everything.
Ooh.
And her weapon is at +5.
Nice.
So that's great.
Sounds like it.
On the second wind on the event, after a farm event that allowed us to get materials if we wanted for the Armor of Light, which is an armor with some innate magic damage resistance, we've had a raid event, which was very tiring because that was just on the heels of another raid event. But this one they did a few changes. So they've condensed the level. Instead of having to go through 130 kills to reach max level, now that's only 80.
Okay, that's a big difference.
Yes. To compensate for that, the boss got harder much earlier.
That's not terrible.
Yeah, I mean, you're spending less time, so...
Yeah, but don't get me wrong, it is still a grind. It's the first raid event I've actually went to max, and I'll explain why very soon, but it is very much a grind.
I mean, yeah, you're beating up the same boss 80 times, that's a lot.
Yeah, and it interrupts your progression while you're doing other things. It's a thing.
Yeah.
But this time they've added a couple of thresholds. If you reached level 40... they gave you an Armor of Light +2.
Ooh.
And if you reach max level, they gave you an Armor of Light +4, which is huge.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good, considering that seems to be among the main... That is like the main reward, isn't it?
Pretty much.
Nice.
And the other rewards you get are enhancement materials for this armor. So basically, it's an alternative way to get it at a reasonable level, or if you're a maniac, to get duplicates.
Okay.
Given how hard the gear grind is at times, having a jumpstart like a +4 armor is not something I wanted to pass up on.
Understandable.
And I haven't yet checked if I have enough materials to make another half and fuse it to +5.
Ooh.
Before, my priority was to get the two big weapons I've worked on to max level, which were the Mage Masher for Venera,
right,
and the Wasselgetty for Lucia.
What is the max? What is the max level?
It is level 50 at a weapon of +5.
Okay, so
meaning
+5
that
is
you need to, meaning that you need to craft and fuse 63 other weapons in total.
Wow.
Yes. And the ones for the higher levels, you need to level and awaken the intermediate weapons partway through. For instance, your 2 +4 weapons also need to be at level 40, which means they need to be awakened 3 times.
This sounds like a ridiculous grind, because that's exponential.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Why?
Right on all accounts, because War Divisions is a grind.
Yeah, wow. I thought Arknights was bad at times. I didn't quite...
Oh, no.
You had no idea.
...grasp just how crazy War of the Visions was. Holy... All right.
Okay.
Holy meatballs, Batman.
Holy meatballs, Batman.
And a quick personal tangent. So I've said I've maxed the Wasselgetty. I've had it at level 40 +5 for a while, but I didn't have the enhancement materials for the last upgrade for a while.
Okay.
So I doubled up on the arena and traded basically all of my arena money for gun enhancement materials, which is one of the only ways to get them off-season, essentially.
Right.
as soon as I was done with that, I've looked at the announcement for what's coming next week, which we won't go into detail yet.
I know what's coming, and I kind of hate it. I'm so sorry.
It's better than that. It's not just a gun book materials farm event.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally a rerun of the Gethy material event.
Oh no! Oh no!
I'm glad I have it at +5 at level 50 now. But I may have screamed internally a little.
I understand. Ow,
I can sympathize.
Oh, but wait. It gets better.
Okay.
Because I've mentioned I've traded in the arena coins for that.
Right.
Which was fine at the time because that was pretty much their main use. Get weapon enhancement materials, either seals or books. But they've added something in one of the latest patch. I think it was around Kilphe's release.
Mm-hmm.
And what they've added is in the regular currencies we have, the ones that are permanent, things like the friend points and the guild coins, actual unit shards.
Oh,
which means that there's no very good rewards for those, and that includes the arena.
Wait, weren't the unit shards like the really hard things to get?
Yes, the one that lets you limit break the units.
Right. And the main reason you haven't been leveling Fravia.
Yeah, though Fravia, of course, also has the issue that she is a limited unit.
Right, which has its own set of problems, but still, like...
Exactly. But, for instance, I've traded in some friend points, which I haven't been spending because nothing interested me before, on Frederica shards. I don't even have a Frederica, but when I'll have one, I'll have more shards for her already.
That's great.
That's great.
Yeah, that's terrific. That's a very nice upgrade.
Yeah, that's a very nice change.
Yeah.
It just so happened that I got screwed on the arena coins, but
well,
nothing too bad, honestly.
Yeah, you can make those back eventually.
I'll take a permanent upgrade that doesn't benefit me at all over no permanent upgrade at all. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Pretty much.
Oh yeah, and back on the FF1 event, I guess the Death Machine released as an Esper as well. Mostly defensively oriented Esper.
Okay, and not, my understanding is it does not have a CG.
No CG animation.
Okay, so then it's useless. Got it.
Not useless. It's one of the few defensive Esper along with
It has
Galen.
no CG. It's useless.
Okay. I respect your opinion.
Anyway, now we talk about the real stats and see if it is actually useless, but sorry, I had to say that.
Yeah, no, it's not the greatest, honestly, but it's pretty nice, and it's a decent defensive card. So if you have it, nice. I didn't go after it because I didn't want to go after limited time units or vision cards.
Yep. Death Machine was...
What we did... yeah, Death Machine was also limited. It was part of the FF1 wave event.
Huh. Oh, Death Machine was like the original Omega, huh?
Yeah, and it was the raid boss we had to fight.
Aha. Got it.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no CG of Fear My Human Laser? Boo!
No, instead we just had 79 instances of eating the Fear My Human Laser.
That's sad.
And let me tell you, for having taken Vinera as my primary unit there, because it was weak to magic, slashing damage, and light elemental, and I might as well take slashing damage even if it isn't light elemental.
Right.
Death Machine is very precise. Even against a unit geared for evasion.
Got it.
Anyway, moving on from the FF1 event, we've had Kilphe joining the units.
Okay.
And she is certainly a very interesting, very cool designed unit. Earth Elemental.
Cool.
A mage, but focused on skills that move her around and skills that buffer her because her magic spells have ridiculously small range. She is basically a melee bruiser mage that hits you with her staff.
Interesting.
Yeah,
So it does magic damage.
She has ways to do smaller amounts of damage and teleport closer to her target. Ways to get her the same kind of physical resist damage shield that tanks have normally.
Wow.
And she is
that sounds really
there
neat.
to hit you in the face.
Yeah.
And I really like that design, honestly.
I'm actually really cool with that. Yeah, that sounds pretty neat.
Yeah. It's a different take on a mage, and apparently one that is pretty useful. Because magic or physical damage, a bruiser is a bruiser.
Yeah.
Another interesting thing that came along with her was that from that point on, and permanently, there's a new pity system.
Okay, a new pity system. So that's actually good data because we were kind of complaining about how their pulls work, so please explain.
Basically, so far, to pull on the featured banner, you had the featured banner pulls, and that was pretty much it, and you got coins from the pulls, but the coins only could be traded for shards, not for the unit itself. So that there wasn't really any incentive or any comfort if you had a really bad streak. Now, it's not an actual step up or anything like that, unfortunately, but it's still a bit of an improvement. So, if you do a pull on a featured banner, you fill a gauge by 20% if you do not get any UR unit or vision card. If your gauge is full at 100%, that is, if you completely whiffed on 5 pulls, you get a UR guarantee.
Okay.
It's not necessarily the featured UR, but I think it benefits from the increased rate chance from the featured banner.
And does it require an additional pull on top of that?
I think it does, yes. You need to be at 100% and get a pull.
Okay.
So basically, if you pull on a featured banner, even if you have the most rotten luck, you at least have you are guaranteed in 12,000 gems visual.
Okay, and is I'm sorry, I keep forgetting the rarity difficulty. UR is the second to highest?
UI is the highest.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's actually really good then. All right.
Yeah.
Wow, that's actually more generous than Arknights. I'm okay.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because Arknights, after 50, it'll increase. After 50, so 5-10 pulls, it'll increase by 2% per pull.
No, I see.
Yeah, so
yeah, that's more generous than that.
Yeah.
And as Spacebird77 says in chat, more gacha games in Mercy Rule.
Yeah, well,
yes.
I'm for anything that gets rid of the gacha part of the gacha game at this point. Like, we keep talking about this, but I can't shake the fact that it's still random chance as opposed to, again, you have Arknights monetization, which is all about buying permanent costumes that just live on your characters, so...
Funny you'd mention that.
Oh dear.
Because now let's talk about the very next event, which was the introduction of Diablos as an Esper, which does have a CG
Yay!
and a vision card. And Diablos has the very first guaranteed step up, which provides the specific featured vision card.
Okay.
The previous step ups we've had is you get a UR, it could be anything. This one is you spend 10,000 visual on this step up, you get Diablos.
Just flat out here have Diablos done.
Exactly.
Neat.
Nice.
I may have grinded every single last uncleared stage to scrounge enough visual to pull that off, but I did.
Well, there you go. Congratulations on her Diablos.
Thank you, that was guaranteed, and I whiffed completely on 3 of the 4 steps before. But at the very least, I mean, that's why we like these guarantees. I knew I would get Diablos in the end.
Yeah.
Which is very nice because the Esper, I mean, it's a interesting situation because the Esper and the Vision card are completely dissociated from each other.
How's that? Diablos
is one of the best mage Esper in the game.
Right. That makes sense.
Yes, that makes sense. The Diablos' Vision card provides, for the unit that equips it, dark damage up, and for everyone in the party, also even more dark damage up.
That makes sense.
Yes. And that seems fine on the first go, until you look at the entirety of every single character released in the game, even in JP, and notice that the only dark magic user in the game is not any single UR unit, is not even any single MR unit. There is only one unit that qualifies, and it's Little Leela, the Dark Elemental Spellblade that's SR rarity, so below MR, which is below UR.
Awesome.
I know, right? But if you have a mage that could benefit from Diablos, or a good set of dark physical units, you can certainly enjoy both parts very separately. For instance, what I can do is have three units in my party that are stay Stern and Whisper and Vinera.
There she is.
And have a free dark elemental slashing damage user, meaning that I can then use Ifrit's Vision card, which increases attack for everybody, Echoing Scream, which increases slashing damage for everybody, and Diablos, which increases dark damage for everybody. And have 3 different sources of increased damage that stack with each other.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And it will get even cooler if eventually I get another version of Stern, which also is Dark Elemental slashing damage. Since the only other Dark Elemental UR units are Shiza, which is blunt, and Kane eventually in the FF4 collab, which is piercing, of course.
Yeah.
And also will be limited, so I'll probably not go after him.
Right, because collabs equals... I love how it's actually... Like, this is such a design philosophy difference between FFBE and War of the Visions. Any FF game is considered a crossover in this one, a collab.
Yeah. War of the Visions is like, you can't be allowed to have your favorite Dissidia character Warrior of Light permanently.
Right.
Meanwhile, FFBE is like, here, have a free meta-defining Tifa!
Yeah.
Oh yeah, also, we're going to have a lot of quality of life changes in the coming update, but we'll go into details in this next episode. Since it does circle around what we mentioned on the raids, I'll just mention that they've brought 2 enhancements for the way raids work, and I think one of them may actually make things worse somehow.
Oh dear.
Because they will increase the rewards when you are the one that initiates a raid.
Oh.
It sounds great, it's more rewards. The problem is that when you open a room, you have a very hard time, unless you're in the very last levels, getting anybody to join in, because there is no good incentive to join a multiplayer raid room.
Oh.
Yeah, it sounds like that could make it.
That has a chance of backfiring.
It's like putting a band-aid on a gaping wound on the wrong leg.
Yeah, that sounds like, that is absolutely...
Yeah.
No, because you're still putting it on the gaping wound, so there's a bigger, even worse gaping wound on the other leg, as far as your analogy is concerned.
Exactly. But hey, at least we'll get the finally the ability to deactivate abilities in auto battle mode.
Yes.
So that's great.
Yes.
And other quality of life changes we'll talk about next episode.
Yes, indeed.
But for now, that's all for War of the Visions.
Fantastic. Do we have anything else? We have a main topic of we'll figure it out. What are we figuring out, Rana?
That's an excellent question. I think the idea is that given how long the stream talk for FFBE would be, we wouldn't have enough time, but somehow we are only at 145 minutes of recording.
Let's... Maybe discretion's the better part of valor here, and we just hit the button.
Sounds good
And
to
we
me.
just say,
the
you know
button
what?
then.
We're good.
Yeah.
You know what, guys?
The main topic is sometimes it's fine to take a break.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
And with that, that's all the time we have for this week. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will be back next week with more of the games you love to hate.
Have
Thank
a
you,
good one,
everyone.
all. See you next time.
Stay safe.